Hello, friendly for West Ham United in pre-season to take on Bayer Leverkusen. Kickoff just under half an hour away, which is live on West Ham's YouTube channel, so everyone can watch it for free, but don't go anywhere because we've got you covered. I'll be here up until kickoff, then Charlie will be taking over and he'll be with you until full time. Then I'll jump on a little bit later to do a review of the game. So if you're watching it, please do watch it on YouTube, but also keep this window open and keep Charlie entertained in the live chat. We're going to get straight into the West Ham team, quite a strong team as you'd expect, given it's our final friendly of the pre-season. David Moyes with, well, not many opportunities to try new things now. Still no new signings either, so there's no new signings to look for today. But the interesting one, perhaps, is a right back. So in goal, we've got Lucas Fabianski with a back four of Tilo Kehrer at right back, with Kurt Zouma partnering on Ogbonna at centre back and Emerson left back. Souček partners Flynn Downs in midfield with Lucas Paqueta, and then we've got Saïd Benrahma on the left, Jai Bone on the right. And interestingly, Mubama is the striker from the start today. So this is really good news, actually. The Kehrer one at right back is interesting. I'm not reading too much into it. Actually, what we'll do in reverse order. Normally we talk about the starting 11, then look at the bench. But I think sometimes the bench provides a bit of context as to who's available and who's not available. So the bench for West Ham this afternoon, we've got Ariola and Anang on there, as well as Ben Johnson. We've also got Soufal, Aguerd, Coventry, Fornals, Kone, Antonio, and Ings. It feels light. I mean, it is light, isn't it? We don't have that many players at the minute. Hopefully we'll have Edison Alves coming in the next few days. James Ward-Prowse played well last night for Southampton as well, so it'll be interesting to see if we go back in for him. But it just shows that Aguerd and Soufal are available despite starting, but we'll put the starting 11 back up on the screen. And Antonio's on the bench, Ings is on the bench, but Mubama is one that David Moyes has given the opportunity to. This gives me big hope. Obviously, the big news today is that Scamacca is increasingly likely to join Atalanta. So I'm very disappointed. But it does beg the question, will we sign a new striker? Will we go after a new striker? And this is Mubama's time to impress. He's impressed so far in pre-season. He's got another opportunity to do so today. And I do think if he was to play a really good game, hopefully get a goal, but be a menace up front and just fit the way that David Moyes wants to play, which I think he does, I think he gives himself a chance at starting against Bournemouth next weekend, you know. I think, looking at the defence, I don't think Ogbonna and Kehrer will start against Bournemouth. I think Soufal and Aguerd will. I think he's just mixing up a bit of game time for those players. In the second half, I assume we will see Soufal at right back. We'll see Aguerd come on. Ben Johnson will come on at left back. We'll see the changes in the second half. But I think that's the midfield. We'll start against Bournemouth. Souček, Downs, Benrahma, Paqueta and Bowen. Even if we sign someone, we might stick with that midfield. I think it depends on who we sign. But given that we play Bournemouth a week today, I think that will be our starting midfield. But that striker position feels like it's up for grabs, actually, with Scamacca on his way out. Antonio late back because of his international duty. Ings has looked okay when playing two up front in pre-season, but we're not going to do that against Bournemouth. We're not going to play two up front. So it's a case of, well, who's the right player to play in? Mubama has a chance today to showcase that. But anyway, we'll have a little look and see what you guys are saying in the live chat in just a second. But thank you to GP for £2 super chat with kind words about the channel. Thank you very much, GP. We've got Lewis saying, is there any way in the world we could play Mubama and Antonio because they'll give us pure speed up front? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think we'll play two up front regardless of personnel. I think we'll stick with our 4-3-3 formation, which we're seeing today. That's why I didn't really read too much into it earlier in the pre-season. We were playing three at the back. It just felt like it was just who's available rather than what we want to do. I think this is the formation we want to do. And I think this is most of the starting 11. Not all of them, most of them. Defence, I think, is self-explanatory, but the striker one's perhaps interestingly. And this is, I often like a little bit of a community question, if you like, where somebody puts in a question. I like to get your guys' thoughts. And here we go. Kia's got it. Thank you, Kia. I found it now. Kia says, realistic replacement for Scamacca. So I want you guys to get involved in the live chat. Please put who you would like to see come in for Scamacca into the live chat. To be honest with you, I don't really have a name. It's not really there's not really one person that I'm desperate to see come in. If up until now, I'm sort of questioning myself. I don't really want to go with Mubama, Antonio, and Ings for the first half of the season. I think that's risky. I've always felt Mubama could replace Ings or Antonio. So Scamacca, Mubama, plus one of those two, I think would be a good 3-striker option. But I've always felt that if Scamacca was the one to leave, that we'd have to bring someone else in. I still feel like that. But I don't really have an answer, to be honest with you. There's one or two players I don't want to see that we've been linked to. But I think the one thing that makes me a little bit hesitant to bring in a replacement for Scamacca is they're going to get in Mubama's way. I want to see Mubama get a real crack at it this season. And we've got a new striker, Antonio Ings. It's going to be difficult to get him game time. So I'm sort of struggling a little bit. I guess the solution to this is to bring someone new in, but one of Antonio or Ings leave as well. So Mubama's got the chance, but we've also got a replacement for Scamacca. But that requires us bringing in a new player and selling a player. And I can't have confidence in the club doing that. We've had over a month to bring one player in. We haven't done it. We've had a year to replace Declan Rice and we haven't done it. So to have faith in the club replacing a striker after a handful of days, it just doesn't exist. Scott's saying Origi coming in. Now, that doesn't say that's who Scott wants. He's just asking, is Origi coming in? I hope not. That's one of the players we've been linked to that I don't want to see come in all honesty. Michael and Dylan immediately both said Jonathan David. Malak says Broja. Teapot says Broja or Balogun. I've seen the links to Balogun and I wouldn't be against it, but I think Arsenal are pricing him up at 50 million. And because of the way we played hardball over Declan Rice, which we should have done, it was the right thing to do. But because we did that, I don't think we can go to Arsenal now and try and buy someone and expect to get anything other than tough treatment back off them. So I don't know if we can get someone from Arsenal. Leo also wants David or Broja. West Ham for life says Balogun is clear of Broja. David would like to see Balogun come in as well. Colin would like to see Mubama be the person to replace Scamacca. Brian says Jonathan David as well. Bra says Broja or Morelos. I wouldn't touch Morelos with a barge pole. A few seasons ago, certainly, but not anymore. The strikers go through spells. I think he's had his moment now. Shane would also like Jonathan David. Garino says Broja as well for him. Alex has said he thinks that Moyes' top choice will be Jamie Vardy. Hope not. I'd rather have no striker than Jamie Vardy. Scott would also thinks Jonathan David would be ideal, but would never come anymore. Logan would also like Jonathan David, but he's biased. JP's also, everyone wants Jonathan David at the minute. Lewis says, Ian Natural, do you know something? It's his teammate, it's Vardy's teammate that I'd be interested in Patson Daka. I think Daka would be my curveball. It hasn't worked out for him at Leicester, but I was a little bit, do you know some players you really like? And when they move to a club in the Premier League, you get a little bit about it, don't you? You go, I wish we signed him. And I was like that with Patson Daka. There's not many players I feel like that with. Solomon going to Spurs, I will say that now before the season starts. Solomon going to Spurs is one of those players I would have loved to have seen at West Ham. But Daka is someone I think there's still a really good player in there, and we haven't seen it at Leicester, which I think gives us an opportunity to perhaps take advantage of that. Had he smashed it for Leicester, A, they might have stayed up, and B, his value would reflect that, which is 30, 40 million now, please. He's a proven Premier League player. Whereas at the minute, he's got Premier League experience, but he hasn't quite done it in this league. So Daka would probably be my choice, but there's no one really that I'm standing out. I mean, Broja, certainly. Jonathan David, I don't watch French football, so I can't comment too much on him. But Broja is someone, before his injury, absolutely. But now, I don't know. Wins is asking about Soufal missing. Honestly, Wins, I don't think it's a big deal. Same with Agerd. Agerd and Soufal are on the bench for West Ham this afternoon, but I do feel it's just a case of giving Kerr and Ogbonna minutes, and that is it. I wouldn't be surprised if we change it at half time and Soufal and Agerd comes on, so they all get 45 minutes each. I think it's just squad rotation. I wouldn't read too much into it at all. Here's a name we were linked to quite a bit, actually. Leo's said Broja and Jonathan David, but he's also said Ekitike, and Garino said Ekitike. Did he go somewhere in the end? I know we were linked to him a bit, and then Newcastle were heavily linked to him. I thought he went somewhere, but again, I don't keep up to date. I don't keep up to date with people we're linked to, and we don't go by. Sydney doesn't think Jonathan David suits our system. Lucas and Mwani, there's no chance of us getting Mwani, surely. I mean, if we could, then happy days, but I just don't think so. Guarino says Moyes wanted Daka if we went to Leicester. I don't recall that, but I would like him. Leo would like Daka. He's quick and could potentially work. Logan thinks Daka's a great shot. Thank you, Logan. I appreciate you. Harry, I think he's fishing, saying that. What about Benteke? Peter says so many channels and web pages thinking we've signed Alvarez when we want to agree to fee with Ajax. Well, according to Romano, we've agreed personal terms with Alvarez, and we've just got the Ajax thing to do. But bearing in mind that Ajax had agreed a deal with Dortmund for selling Alvarez, I think that's possibly the easier thing. By the sounds of it, the problem, there you go, Ekitike went to PSG. Thanks, Connor. I knew he went, I had a feeling he went somewhere. Michael says Ekitike is possible on loan. We've dealt with PSG before. That's very true. And could happen, which Breezy then gives the reason why it could happen, which is Mwani is off to PSG. Phil saying that Ekitike will move at PSG, sign Mwani. So that's potentially something to keep your eye on. Anyway, that's the West Ham team. Fabianski, Kerr, Zuma, Ogbonna, Emerson. Ogbonna, the captain's armband. But I mean, we still don't know who the blinking captain is. We play next weekend. We still don't know who our captain is. But that shows that Ogbonna's ahead of Souček in the pecking order at the minute. The one thing I will say is I've seen the pictures coming out of the awards last night, and I know Skamaka wasn't there, that's obvious, but Cresswell wasn't there, and I'm genuinely gutted about that, actually. I'm pretty sad about it. I know I'm a bit of a Cresswell fanboy, and I'm fat Aaron Cresswell. Yeah, I get it, fat Aaron Cresswell, but 9 years he's been at the club. He had a big part to play in our success last season, and the fact that he's gone AWOL, he's not on the bench today again, so he's basically not in training at the minute because he wants a move. I just find it really disheartening that it's come to this, actually, that a player that's been with us for 9 years has got to a point where he doesn't feel like he can come to training and try and force a move through, and he's not turning up for the awards night and stuff. What's a sad ending to somebody that's given us some, brilliant service, really. But anyway, a little bit of admin quickly. We are selling signed copies of the Tony Gale autobiography. Tony Gale's autobiography, which is titled That's Entertainment, comes out on the 1st of September. It's 20 quid. That's the recommended retail price. But if you pre-order it from the Hammers Chat store, you will get a signed copy from Tony Gale. We'll be doing a video with Tony, hopefully next week, just about West Ham, a preview of the season. But if you do fancy getting a copy, go to hammerschatstore.com and grab it. So get it pre-ordered now, and you will get a signed copy from Tony Gale. But not only that, we've had some new merch arrive literally today. I was doing it just now before I went live. We've got some coasters. Now, we do have T-shirts come in. That also arrives today between 1:30 and 2 o'clock. So during the game, the T-shirts will arrive, and they'll be on store later tonight or tomorrow, Monday at the very latest. But you fancy coasters. So we've got 3 new designs. We've got this one, which is, as you can see, it just says champions with the eye as the trophy. We've got the irons, again, with the eye as the trophy. And then we decided it's time to celebrate our hero here at Hammers Chat of Jared Bowen. So there's the Bowen coaster. It's got his song with Jared Bowen knee slide celebration after scoring the winner in Prague. So those coasters are available on the store right now, as well as Tony Gale biography, and the T-shirts will be up later on this weekend. We've got a couple of good designs. You never know. If we win, if I'm feeling good and they arrive, I might even pop one on for the review. The game, I know a lot of people are asking about the stream. You can watch it on West Ham's official YouTube channel. Kickoff is in 15 minutes, so everyone can watch it. It's free. We don't have to pay a $5 for this one. Still a bit annoyed we didn't get a refund for that game that we watched. What one was it? I can't even remember who we played now, but the stream broke, didn't it? Was it the Tottenham one? Yeah, it was. It was the Tottenham one, weren't it? All the goals were flying in the first half, and we couldn't watch it. And in the second half, Tottenham were scoring, and we could all watch that one. Typical West Ham style. But anyway, the Leverkusen side, I'll leave it for... Actually, I will read it out. Okay, I'll read it out. I don't have it on the screen because Charlie's still asleep. Charlie's like nocturnal. He's awake during the night and sleeps during the day, but he will be along in a little bit. But the Bayer Leverkusen starting 11 is as follows. It's in alphabetical order, I'm afraid, rather than positional. They've got Adley as well as Arthur. They've got Boniface. They've got Frimpong as well as Hoffman. Hardrecki is in goal with Palacios. Jonathan Tah, who've been linked to quite a bit, actually, starts today for Leverkusen with Tapsoba as centre-back. We've got Ritz in midfield, and then Granit Xhaka, who they signed from Arsenal this summer. So that's your Bayer Leverkusen lineup. So a very strong Bayer Leverkusen team to take on West Ham today. A lot of pace in that team, in the attacking areas. Right back, Ben Rama's going to have his hands full with Frimpong down that side there. But that's how Leverkusen line up. And the bench... there's always a couple of names I don't know how to pronounce, isn't there? The bench for Leverkusen is Amiri Angrick at Aurier, Fosu Mensah, Hosek, who, as you know, we were linked to for quite some time, actually. How the hell do you say this name? Kosunu, we'll go with that. I think that was all right. Lom, Mbamba, Moname Nosomeso. Don't know. I don't even know who this guy is. Who is he? Let me have a click on him. He played in the youth team last season. That's why I don't know who he is. And they've got Munz, Pence, who's the goalkeeper, and then they've got Milana as well on the bench for Leverkusen. So there you go. There's the Leverkusen starting 11 butchered for you. Right, let's have a little look at see what you're all saying. So in your live chat, please get your thoughts coming in. It could be about the West Ham team, how you're feeling about the season. Maybe not the transfer talk. If you want to talk Edson Alvarez, that's fine, but ranting about no signings, we'll keep that. We've done that enough over the last week, and we'll do it enough over the next week. So for today, let's have a little bit of fun. Let's have a little bit of positivity. Saying that, I've just looked at live chat now, and Peter said it's an easy home win for Leverkusen. Scott said we're going to get thumped. Well, the positivity lasted for about 5 seconds. Lewis, here's not a positive one. It says Tan Tapsoba will be a big test for Mubama. I like that, actually. That's a very accurate comment, and I think it's fair. If Mubama can impress today, he's going to give Moyes a serious headache, but I feel Moyes is hesitant to sell Michail Antonio. I think that's a fair statement to make. Antonio was twerking for a move back in January, didn't get it, despite us signing Danny Ings. Obviously, we had concerns over Skamaka, but we signed a striker and we didn't sell a striker. The impression is that Antonio still wants out of the club. That's the rumours going round. But you get the feeling that Moyes isn't too keen on selling him. Now, we're going to get rid of Skamaka. I can understand why he's a bit reluctant to let Antonio go as well. But Mubama can impress today. I do think that might convince Moyes just to let Antonio go because he's got his replacement at the club already. We can cope, injuries permitting, assuming we don't get any. For the first couple of games of the season, we'd be okay with Mubama and Ings, I think. We would need a new striker before the end of the transfer window, of course. But I think we'd be all right. So Mubama can impress today. I do wonder if not only will he start against Bournemouth, but it might just persuade Moyes to let Antonio leave the club. Let's have a little look and see what we're saying. Tijan said Leverkusen will pump us. That team is very strong. Gaming says that Leverkusen fans are bitter as Steiden was the one who went for Alvarez. Or, sorry, about our fans, because Steiden's one who went for Alvarez. Lewis says, I wonder if we're getting a good look at anyone today other than Jonathan Tah. The thing is, we shouldn't need one, right? We should not need a good look at any of these players because Steiden signed half of them. Steiden was responsible for Frimpong, Tapsoba. Just thinking of the starting 11 at the minute. Palacios, he was certainly. Ritz was another one that was brought to the club under Tim Steiden as well. Half the players starting for Leverkusen were Tim Steiden signings, so we shouldn't need a look at them. Possibly David Moyes is the one that needs to have a little look in persuasion, but at the end of the day, I don't feel, surely, listen, if today persuades Moyes to sign someone, I think he's mental. You cannot buy someone off the back of a friendly, regardless of who it is, player or a club. You cannot watch a friendly and think, actually, that guy's the guy that we need. You cannot do it because if you look at our friendlies, some players are not performing that well because they're taking it easy. It's only friendlies, but there's other players playing really well. Like Fernandez is having a really good preseason, I think. You're not going to buy him off the back of it. He's out to impress at the minute. Blake, how do we feel about our league position come the end of the season on how things are going right now? I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's at the minute, I think we're looking at a relegation battle. I do. That's how I genuinely believe. I think we're looking at another tough season, but That will change. My feelings will change when we bring players into the club. We are at the lowest point. Well, Scamacca's way leave. With the sale of Scamacca included, we are at the lowest possible point in terms of our squad, in terms of numbers, in terms of quality. There's no replacement for Rice. There's no replacement for Lanzini. There's no upgrades. We've got Cresswell wanting out. So at the minute, we've only got one left back. It's hard for it to get worse than it is. So it can only get better. And as things do get better, and they will, because we will sign players. It might not be the players you want. It might not be the players I want. Might not even be the players Moyes or Steiden want, but we will make signings between now and then the transfer window, 100%. But my confidence will increase as we bring in those players, but depending on who they are, depends on how much that confidence shall go up. Lee thinks it's a relegation battle this season. Raja thinks that Edson Alvarez is not a Tim Steiden recommendation. Lewis says, do we know what happened with Cresswell other than him wanting to take the Wolves deal? Is it the testimonial situation? Was there a fault? I've been thinking about this as well, Lewis, because I think it's strange that for Cresswell to essentially go on strike, he's not in training. So that's crazy, absolutely crazy. And this is an incredibly firm stance for Cresswell to take. So what has caused it? And I've been wondering about it as well, because it can't be that he just wants to go to Wolves. Surely not. I mean, it's maybe a financial reason. Apparently, Wolves are willing to offer him a 3-year contract. He's only got 1 year left with us. That's a lot of money. And that takes him up until he's 36 years old at Wolves. That's him done as a Premier League footballer. He's essentially signed a contract which is going to see him into retirement, and so sets him and his family up for a long, long time. So I get it, the financial aspect of it. But to go on, to not train, not participate in friendlies, to not go to the award ceremony last night, that's a seriously strong stance to take, and it concerns me. Something must have happened. I don't know what. We're all guessing, but I don't know. I do not know. Let's have a look. Daniel said there's a Tim Steiden derby today. Peter says, heaven help us if we pick up injuries. Gads reckons Mubama is beast mode the second. Lee reckons we're going to lose 3-1. Leo says Mubama does good, then will Moyes get a Scamacca? We'll have to wait and see. Michael says Antonio has personal issues and financial issues. I think that's why he wants a fresh start. The rumours have gone round for quite a while now about Antonio. It's not really speculation that I want to bring up. I'm not going to say what they are. You can find them yourself, kind of thing. But if it's true, I get it. I do get it. I think sometimes we, in general, as fans, forget that players are humans at the end of the day. They have families, they have stuff going on away from work, because football is just their work. It's their job. Their job is a footballer, and West Ham is their place of employment. At the end of the day, stripping it back to the bare basics, that's what it is. So if a person that we employ wants to move to another place of employment for family reasons or whatever, I think sometimes we can forget that. And it was nice, to be fair, when Dawson left for those exact reasons in January, the fan base were incredibly understanding. I think they would be as well if that was the reason Antonio was wanting out. Scott says Ings is smart and makes great runs and needs someone to play off of. Link-up plays excellent with Emerson and Paqueta. Steve reckons a relegation battle again. God help us if we get any significant injuries. Let's have a little look. Paul says we're going to have a look at Alonso, which is obviously Leverkusen manager, who signed a new deal a couple of days ago. Doesn't really mean much. I think obviously that's him committing to Leverkusen, getting a wage increase. But I think if we were to go after him next summer, I'd still feel confident we get him. For all we know, there's a clause in that contract of his that he signed. We don't know. Before somebody says that Alonso signed a new deal, so we're not going to get him, I don't think it means too much in this day and age in football. Chippy says Moyes won't let Antonio leave until he has another battering ram to replace him. Let's have a little look and see what you're all saying. Keep your comments coming in. I'm a bit behind. I am going through them as fast as I can. Michael says, I don't think we should be putting so much pressure on Mubama. He needs first team minutes for sure, but we can't expect him to be a very big replacement for Antonio. No, I think the opposite, Michael. I think we should put pressure on him. He's whatever he had thrown at him last season, under 18s, under 21s, a very small amount of minutes in the first team. He handled it all and he exceeded. I think it is time to put pressure on him. And I think sometimes the best way for these kids is to throw them in the deep end. Now, I know you're a patron, Michael, so I know you've got the Anton Ferdinand podcast and stuff. And you can't ignore when we speak to Anton on a regular basis. And he speaks about how when he was coming through the academy, he just wanted to play first team. He just wanted to throw it in the deep end. That's how he learned. And I think this is the same with Mubama. He's chomping at the bit to get going. I think given the pressure, put him in and see how he gets on. I think he'll do all right. I do feel confident in Mubama. And I actually feel confident in Moyes giving Mubama a chance. He's the only youngster in the team today. I know we've got Anang there, but we always have 3 keepers. I don't think that means anything. But yeah, I'm confident in Mubama. So let's chuck him in and see what he's got. Billy says, watch Sideway Flynn Downs in this game. He worries me big time. I think he'd be okay next to a better centre midfielder. But we don't have that at the minute, so it's difficult. Martin, last time we'll remind everyone the game is on YouTube. If you want to go watch it, it's on West Ham's YouTube channel. But ideally, load it up on your telly or something. Most people have got a smart TV these days. Get YouTube on your TV, watch the game, but on your phone or your iPad, keep this channel open, interact with Charlie in the live chat as he goes. Jordan, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Jordan says, would you look into Championship for a striker? Someone like Akpom. Well, the thing is, I think we missed him, to be honest with you, Jordan. That's why I was a bit surprised we didn't go after Gyökeres when he left Coventry and he went to Sporting, and it sort of felt like nobody really put up any competition with Sporting to get him. And I thought he was the most Antonio-like striker in the Championship, did really well in Championship, and was used to playing essentially up front on his own, miles away from midfield. I didn't watch Coventry loads, watch them in the playoffs, obviously, and more to watch Gyökeres a bit closer. And at times he was isolated. At times he was up front, 20 yards away from nearest midfielder, getting the ball launched at him. And I thought he handled it really well. So I think the replacement for Antonio was there at the end of the season, but he's gone now. He's somewhere else. On Tip says, any news on Truffett? Honestly, I don't know. I know we're linked to left backs, with Truffett being one of them, but I don't think we've even made a bid, to be honest with you. There's not really much information about if we have bid for him. But we'll definitely, if Cresswell goes, we definitely need a left back. But I just hope the club are going to deal with this Cresswell situation, because it's been going on for a week now. That's a long time in football. There's only 3 weeks till the window closes. We can't let this linger. If Cresswell's going to go, we need a new left back. As simple as that. But I don't really want to keep him at the club against his will either. We can't ignore this situation. Is he our first choice left back anymore? No, Emerson is, but he's still got a big part to play. What happens if Emerson gets injured today? That's Ben Johnson left back, and I don't want that. I don't want to see Ben Johnson playing left back. Thank you to Housey, just with nice words for Hamish chat, but £2 super chat as well. So Housey, thank you very much. House the channel out massively. Epic says the official stream has just died, which is wonderful. Not surprised about that, to be honest with you. Where's Charlie? Charlie's late. Let me ring him. Let me ring him live on YouTube. Let's ring Charlie. We're ringing Charlie to see where he is. So, Mr. Walsh, get a move on. He's sleeping. Charlie is sleeping. Right, let's see where this game is. I'm going to have to load it up and do it myself now. I don't like doing watch-along shit. But Mr. Walsh is sleeping. We'll give him a row when he comes on. Right, let's get this friendly loaded up and see what's happening. Right, it's live now on the official West Ham YouTube channel. If you're thinking this guy is rubbish at doing watch-alongs, you are correct. I am rubbish at doing watch-alongs. But until Charlie arrives, you're stuck with me. We're underway in Germany anyway. Let me turn up the screen brightness. There we go. Have a little look at that. Dean says, I don't believe that Cresswell instigated this. He's been ultimate professional for us. Coming up to his testimonial, none of me. This is what I don't get. I think he had like 9 years. Cresswell's been at the club for 9 seasons and done nothing wrong. Then suddenly it's like there's an issue with him. And I just struggle to I just struggle to believe that nothing's happened. Something must have happened. The testimonial thing is the only thing that makes sense. Has he wanted a testimonial and he's got pissed off because the club won't give him one, or the club have said, oh yeah, you can have one, 300 grand. And it might not be a financial thing. I know people say, oh, well, modern players don't need testimonials now. Back in the day it was for money. I get that. But now, I think back in the day it was for money. But today's world, I don't think it's financial, because most players give the money to charity. It's about celebrating the service of a player doing 10 years at the club, which is rare. It's really rare. And I think it should be celebrated. But if I did 9 years service somewhere and I was supposed to get something for my 10th year, and they turned around and said, oh, no, you're not getting that, I think I'd be pissed off as well. So the guessing, the testimonial thing is the only thing that makes sense. And a lot of people talk about there's no game on for them. It is working for me. I've just got it on my phone. There you go. I've got it on now. Charlie's on his way. He has text. So it's working for me on the official West Ham YouTube channel. Lewis says testimonial is a big deal. It's like working an office job for 10 years and your management refuses to give you after. I completely agree. I think it's mad that they wouldn't give him a testimonial. We don't even need to do it until next summer, though. That's the thing. But we usually have one friendly at home. I know we haven't this summer, but we usually would do. Just make the Betway Cup Cresswell's testimonial, do something. Have it at the end of the season, the week after the season finishes. Have a testimonial for Cresswell then or something. There's plenty of opportunity. I don't know. Stephen says 10 years at work, he got a 75 quid voucher. What was the voucher for? I want to know what it was for, though. Gavin says it's greedy. He'll get 300k in a move. I don't know if you're talking about Cresswell or the club. Honestly, I don't think it's about money. I don't think it's about money. It might be, but we'll see. Swift says, I have a tablet for the game and phone for this. Love the channel. Thank you, Swift. Much appreciated. Can't do it without people like yourself. Literally cannot do it without people like yourself that stick around. Stephen said he's got his £75 voucher for Argos. The timer on Charlie does all this thing, Kai. It's not me. Charlie does it all. But I'm on 3 minutes 26 seconds on my game at the minute. Dean, thank you very much. Appreciate it. You sticking around. Leverkusen have just had a really good opportunity here. Good ball in behind the back. Ball cut across. He should have scored, really. Straight at Fabianski. But that should be 1-0 Leverkusen. And they're coming down the left again. A ball in. Another volley, but it's well wide this time. Not troubling Alonso. I'll tell you what, 4 minutes in, and it's all Leverkusen, really, to be honest with you. They've got a corner now. A corner for the... Jeff said Bayer, not N, no N, Bayer YouTube channel streaming the game as well, so you can have a little look if you want. Liam says, any links for stream, West Ham and the website don't allow. Use a VPN. I think if you just check a VPN. It's mad that they don't allow the people. Hey, Australians, we're playing over there. Come watch us. Come watch us. Get your arse to Perth and come watch us in a pre-season friendly. 2 weeks later, piss off, Australians. Block. You can't watch it over there. It's probably doing you a favour, to be honest with you. It's only 5 minutes in. It's just been all Leverkusen. We've been cut open a couple of times down their left, down our right-hand side. I was hoping. The thing is, you can't read too much into friendlies, but regardless, Downs and Souček is possibly going to be our centre midfield for the Bournemouth game, and my lack of faith has not really got anything to do with the friendlies so far. The Downs Souček partnership is just what I've seen from Downs and Souček so far at West Ham that makes me worried a little bit. But Leverkusen are coming forward again, this time down the right-hand side. We gave the ball away a little bit sloppy. Luckily, they don't have too many players in the box. They're actually just trying to pass their way into the back of the net at the minute, Leverkusen. To be fair, they're getting into the 18-yarder doing it. So, Ogbonna getting a little bit of a lenient free kick there, thankfully, because he was Well, he lost control of the ball, and then he tried to head it while laying on the ground. Well, let's have a look and see what he's saying. Davis is saying, "Are we surprised we play rubbish football? It's been years of rubbish. This is the West Ham way." Peter says Moyes is hoping for a draw. Tijan says Leverkusen doing well so far for a team with no Premier League experience. I like it. I like it. Good comment. I like it.
Hello.
Good morning. Good afternoon. How's things?
Thank Christ this is pre-season. Am I right? Jesus Christ. How are you?
Good, actually. I mean, to be fair, Charlie, it's 6 minutes in. It's just been all Leverkusen so far, so you haven't really...
Good. Who's playing up front? That's question one I need.
Mubama's up front for us.
Oh, he's actually gone for it.
Yeah, the team's on the screen. Kera right back and Ogbona's
I'm
playing.
doing that thing literally everyone does when they say what's the team when it's literally on the screen.
It's fine. God. You've just woke up. We'll let you off. But here they come. 3-on-1 for Leverkusen. Oh, did we bring him down? Zuma's brought him down. I mean, in Premier League terms, that would maybe be a red card. He's getting a yellow card because it's pre-season, but that might have been a red card in Premier League because it was outside the box and he's pretty much through. Ogbona's kind of there. I think, to be fair, do you know something? I'm going to say it. Because Ogbona's there, right? In Premier League football, that might actually been quite a wise free kick to give away. You'd be banking on the referee letting you have Ogbona. But a yellow card for Zuma and a free kick for Leverkusen outside the box. It's only 7-8 minutes in, but I'm already dreading the Bournemouth game next week.
Yeah. Have they been? I mean, obviously it's only 7 minutes in, but the big thing that concerned me in the last game was just how easily they passed directly through the middle of us.
Oh, they've done that now. They just came running through the middle and it just came up on my phone that we're 1-0 down, so I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, good.
I've
just clicked on and I can see a free kick is being taken. So
yeah, so he must bang this one in.
Oh, it's a banging free kick, to be fair. That is a banging free kick.
That is a lovely free kick. 1-0 Leverkusen.
That was my big concern in the last game, is they were just passing straight through the middle of us. Like it felt like the heavens just opened every 2 seconds and they just went straight through the middle.
That is a really good free kick.
It's a great free kick.
Hoffman with the goal, 1-0 Leverkusen. Fabianski can't see anything. The Leverkusen wall is actually in a really good position. It's right through the middle of the Leverkusen wall. Fabianski can't see a thing.
Yeah, to be fair, that is a very, very, very good free kick. He's managed to get it. He's managed to get it around the wall, but not only that, the power on it is.
Yeah, it's gone through the Leverkusen wall as well. It's absolutely perfection.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. I know it's only friendly, but like I say, when you see the same things in pre-season that you did last season, you can't ignore that. You can ignore some things, but you can't ignore the fact that this is probably going to, even if we sign Alvarez, we're probably still going to play Downs and Souček against Bournemouth, unless Moyes puts Alvarez in with no minutes in pre-season, which is possibly unlikely. I would say it's unlikely.
Has he been playing for Ajax?
I don't know, to be honest with you. But even if he has, will he? I'm not sure he'll go straight in.
With Moyes, you would probably guess no, but.
Oh, God. Anyway, this is fun. Whenever we get it, though, I don't think we've been able to string 2 or 3 passes together yet, Charlie. I'm not even taking the piss. Like, just there, Zuma just launched it forward, just booted it, gave it straight back to him. Now they're passing it around as they slow build up from the back. But they don't need to do anything else. I'm already ready for May, and we've not even started the season.
Schizo with the €5. God. Thank you very much, Schizo. Massively appreciated. Gio and Charlie, it's going to be an interesting season. You're not wrong, bro. You're not wrong in any way, shape, or form.
Should have had a free kick. I don't think maybe he does win it. I thought the Leverkusen player got there first, but
I mean, that's the concerning thing for me, I guess, right? So I've obviously not seen them off, but this is essentially our strongest 11. Apart from, I would probably make the argument for Cresswell over Kera. I realize most people, he had a strong end to the season, to be fair. So
yeah, Cresswell over Kera and Aguerd over Agbona, and then that would be our...
Yeah, and that's the other one. But that would be the strongest. But outside
you can
argue
about the striker. You can argue about the striker as to who... The thing is, peak Antonio, but the problem is you've got to then be confident that you're going to get beast mode Antonio, and I don't think you can have that confidence at the minute. So I would agree with you. At the minute, possibly our best option is Mubama. We don't know, but this is why I'm pleased to see him start with Benrahma, Bo, and Paqueta.
Yeah,
up against Tapsoba and Tah. So it's like really good defenders he's up against today. So if he impresses today, then he's got to start against Bournemouth, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We're trying to work something here. Paqueta just overhit a little bit. Goal kick for Leverkusen. Benrahma couldn't get on the end of it. Right, Walsh, I'm going to go and have some lunch. And also, we've had new coasters, Charlie, the ones that you know. Yeah. So look at these things.
Oh, they're actually here now. Nice.
Yeah, they arrived literally just about an hour ago.
Nice.
And then
banger.
And we've got the Hammers Chat one as well, actually. I just didn't think people would be that interested in it, so I didn't show it. But we've got the Hammers Chat coaster now, because people do ask for it. So there you go. There's the Hammers Chat coaster. So they're on the store. And today, Charlie, between 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock, so the next hour and a bit, the t-shirts arrive.
It's all on a Saturday.
I know. Inconvenient as well. My whole Saturday gone now because I've got to do videos, but also shop stuff. So all the coasters are up for sale, and the t-shirts will be later. So, oh no, oh my God! Last ditch defending from Emerson to prevent a bit of a tap in at the back post there. Corner for Leverkusen. Leverkusen continue to be all over us. Coming down their left, our right again. Keder's he's not a fullback.
No.
Every time they come down that left, our right, they're getting acres of space. The ball's coming across. They will score from across from the left-hand side today. They win the header, tipped over by Fabianski, corner. I mean, this is just... We're getting battered. We are getting battered. The thing is, look at that. Like, Downs isn't even watching the ball. He's just watching his player. And even when he's watching his player, he's doing nothing to prevent his player from winning the header. Well, he goes and wins the ball well, to be fair, Downs, because of the ball, and we win a free kick just outside our box, so we can maybe string 3 passes together. Here we go. Can we get 3 passes? And then I'm going to go.
I'm going to say no.
Right, here we go. Zuma's going to take it. Let's go. Can we get 3 passes? They might be sideways, but we'll take it. 1, 2. Oh, that was a cheeky one.
Oh, there you go.
3, 4. Oh.
Look at this. This is like that goal Argentina scored in the World Cup that
5,
one time.
6.
That looked out of play, but we'll move on.
7, 8. Oh, we've lost it now. We've got a throw in off of it. No, Leverkusen throw. Okay, we've got 8 passes together.
There you go.
We just made it into the Leverkusen half as well.
8 passes, Gio, and we went from a free kick just outside our area to a Leverkusen throw-in on about the halfway line. It's beautiful stuff.
Now they've got the ball outside our box.
It's beautiful stuff.
In less than 8 passes, they went from a halfway line throw-in to outside our box. They're just waiting for Keder to step out of position.
Dylan, the game is on West Ham's official YouTube channel, so feel free to click over.
Yeah, I wouldn't bother
keep
watching
us,
it.
It's not a vibe. Yeah,
Dylan,
you can just stay here and be stressed with us. Feel free to watch it on your phone or whatever as well. Oh my God, we're playing some dangerous passing around at the back.
Yeah. Right, Charlie, I'm going to do work and watch the game and do more different work.
All right.
Oh, we've lost the ball. Right. Cheers, Charlie.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Hello, everyone. How are we all? Hope you're well. Hope you're good. It is 1-0, which is a vibe. I'm awake now, which is less of a vibe. This is what happens when you get up. When you've been going to bed at about 7 o'clock in the morning for the past week because of work. Apparently, just not awake. Not awake. Listen, Lewis. The point is the watch along happened, okay, and that is it. What and that is the what I'm going to be saying. The streak exists. I'm technically here, and the watch along happened. So I'm saying that the streak exists. But I get your point. I get your point. Goal kick to West Ham. This is the interesting thing for me, right? Is that, like I said, I think this is basically our first 11 outside of Sufal and Aged, and then, as Gio said, arguably Mubama and Antonio, given what kind of Antonio turns up. But I would agree with that as well. This is essentially our first 11, or what you could look at it as is our first 11 if a couple of injuries happen. I don't want to be in a situation where I'm judging this game purely off of result or anything like that, because it is preseason at the end of the day. But there does, I don't know, it does feel a little bit I don't know, it's just worrying, isn't it? It's just worrying. But West Ham are going to have a throw in on the left hand side, right near the corner flag. Emerson, classic West Ham throw there. Emerson lays it to Ben Rama. It comes back to Emerson, and then straight away they lose out on the ball. Bono flipping heck. He's offside in the end. They tried to counter-attack there by an off throw-in, and they went flying through it. Bono took a horrendous touch. But thankfully, he was offside. Otherwise, that was a big problem. Is it only AK? Is this like only available in the UK or something? God, thank you, Sebastian. Thank you. That's it's the vibe we're going for here. And at some point, I will get done in by a metal plate underneath a hockey jersey by a Canadian man. Very, very specific reference I've made there. I apologize. Yeah, especially at the moment. It's really frustrating. Oh, it's only available in the UK. Yeah, Remote I can't watch. Ah, okay. I didn't know this. That's incredibly stupid. That's unbelievably stupid. Fair enough. We lose the ball instantaneously. That's the thing, especially at the moment, right? You don't want to be in a situation where like I said, I'm trying not to take too much out of it because it really is just preseason. But it is the last game of preseason. It is a week before the season starts. And with everything going on at the moment, it's a scary prospect. It's a very scary prospect. Tapsoba plays it into their front man. It was a nice idea to try and play it out to the right-hand side. Bent ball. Very Skamaka-esque, if I may. It does not work. Well, it does not work out. It goes out for a West Ham throw. On the left-hand side, right in our corner quadrant. This is the thing I was thinking about the Alvarez thing, right? Is even if we did sign Alvarez, which seems the most likely right now, or another defensive midfielder, I think there would be a chance they would start with or without preseason for us, because we just have been so easy to get through. And it wouldn't surprise me if we just went, right, they're going in instantaneously kind of thing. It wouldn't shock me. Because we have found it so difficult. Whether or not that happens or not is a different question, but it's got very, very blue. I need to change the thing, but it's working at least. Leverkusen passing it round at the back, little nip in the back from Paquetá, and that's going to be potentially a yellow card. They're passing it around very easily, and Paquetá just comes straight through the back. Yeah, I think it was a yellow card for him. Wasn't a particularly dangerous. It wasn't 2-footed. It wasn't a slide tackle or anything. He just decides to get up and get into him. He's like, no, not having that. Change that. There you go. And there you go. That'll do. we play like a Serie B team, except it's being boring. Listen, E, that's a solid comparison. I can't say I've watched much Serie B myself. West Ham passing it around incredibly dangerously at the back, forcing Areola, in fact, to go. Is it Areola? No, it's Fabianski to go and just boot it long and straight into the feet of Bayer. If anything, as well, losing comprehensively, if not by scoreline, at least by ability. Oh, nice again. Ball out to that right-hand side. Frimpong tries to cross it in, blocked by the defender, blocked by Emerson, gets in there on a second, gets completely beaten. That's Ben Rama even. The ball in, thankfully, is poor. If anything, getting comprehensively beaten by Leverkusen here, if not by scoreline, at least by vibe, is yet more proof that we should have lost Iden to just be in charge. Who knows? Who knows? We are definitely chasing shadows, though. That is 100% the case. That is 100% the case. Whipped in from the corner, the result in, hooked away from Jared Bowen. I say hooked away. It landed basically on the penalty spot. I'm going to use the ball again. Moyes is on the side of the pitch just clapping. I say clapping. I think it's more of an encouragement, not like a good play, boys. I think it's more of a like, come on, we can do this kind of clap, which is a vibe. It'd be interesting to see how he decides to try and turn this around. Because again, it is preseason, but he will be acutely aware more than anyone the situation right now and the vibe right now. And he'll know that this is an awful result for us so far. Like he's got some symbols. Yeah, Farrell. Exactly that. It's a nice turn, Layden. There's like 3 or 4 players just around him, and they're just passing straight through. Again, played out to Frimpong on the right-hand side. Emerson this time is the one who stands up to him, is played inside. Oh, nice back heel. It's a great space. This has got to be 2. It is. That is a really, really good goal. It might have been an own goal, to be fair, but they've just passed. To be fair, it's good passing, but there is just no one picking up on him. There's a back heel inside the box to their number 7 who just lays it across the area. And I think it might be an own goal from Kera. Back heel, number 7, pulls it back. I can't tell. I think it hits off Kera last, but yeah, 2-0. That is so... It's good. It's good, but it was so easy just to play through there. Again, just we all shift across. They change. They do what we never do. I complain about it constantly on these streams, but the ability to just play and change, shift it from one side to the other quickly. They're playing it down the left-hand side. We all bunch together. Then they just turn, play it across in a really nice ball to Frimpong, who's far forward, and then all of a sudden they're in a massively attacking position with no one around them. Emerson comes across to try and cover him. Instead of the cross, which he did last time, which was awful, he just hits the pull back to the person just on the edge of the area, the number 7. Sorry, I don't know who the number was, but he manages to back heel it into the number 7, who's just in all acres of space, basically in the... Victor Boniface is maybe the person who scored. It could be an goal, I don't know. Who's in acres of space in the 6-yard box, essentially, and then his pull back towards Boniface / Kera, and it ends up in the back of the net. 2-0 by Leverkusen. And they've instantly just regained the ball and started playing around with it again. It's a stressful match to watch right now. So you check with the interception there. There's more pass to him than interception, to be fair, but he does what he needs to. Pass it back to Fabianski, who then just hoofs it along. We need to get something more than just hoofing it along from this. I mean, Bayer Leverkusen are pressing okay to get into positions where they can make something of like a press, or can make it a difficult thing to deal with. But I'll be unreal with you. Like, every time Fabianski has the ball, it is ending up just going long, and 9 times out of 10, they are They're landing straight at the Bayer Leverkusen defender's feet, and they can go again. We have the ball now, though, in the center of the pitch. We are slowly going further back with it. Go on, Emerson, just go forward. Yes. Emerson drives forward, hits the cross in, puts them under a little bit of pressure. We win a corner from it. That's all we need. There was a bit of space there from Emerson, and he was desperately looking to play it inwards, even though there was just a huge amount of space ahead of him to just run into. He ends up doing it, tries to just, I mean, the cross was going to nothing and was almost impossible to make of anything, but still. We're going to get a corner, though, from the left-hand side. I am. I very much am. I very much am. Corner from left-hand side. Bow to take it, whips it in. Double header played across the box. Can't quite make anything happen of it. It's going to be a throw-in on the right-hand side now, back to West Ham. Not a great corner. He puts it in, but there's just no, like, it's going towards Zuma, which is kind of what you want from those situations, but he's having to lean up and backwards to try and get onto it, and then just ends up bouncing out. Nice idea from Ben Rahman to try and find Mubama, but the pass is just a little bit overhit. It's 2 occasions there where there's just been something on and it's just been tiny overhit. Had Lucas Paquetá about 10 minutes ago. Ben Rahman that time. And now they come forward again. Frimpong so quick down that right-hand side. Easily cleared away, and it's going to be a corner. Kurt Zuma covering. But again, just they're finding Frimpong. It's kind of the perfect person to put up against Emerson, if we're being honest, because obviously Emerson's a more attacking left back. We've got Ben Rahman, who's not exactly a defensive winger, and then you've got Frimpong, who is quick, and so instantaneously they almost always have play down that right hand side into Frimpong, who's always in acres of space. Hoffman, the number 7, is going to take the corner from the left hand side, from our left, their right hand side, outswinger, right foot. Looking for that front post. It doesn't quite work out. Bounces back towards the back. Thankfully hooked away. But it was a close one. Punted back into the box. Hoffman's first time cross was awful. They still have the ball, though. A poor clearance, but thankfully it lands at the feet of Jared Bowen, who had an option there and just doesn't take it. Decides to play a little 1-2 with Kehrer. It's nicely done, but again, there's options going forward, and we're just playing it back by Leverkusen just on top of us, just waiting for it, managing to get some pressure on us. It's going to be a free kick, thankfully, but flipping it. No, we don't at all. We don't, to be honest, at all. It's very annoying. The thing is, Richards, I like both of the players, right? But I don't see where they fit. Like, I like both of those players, but both of those players in my head would be a replacement for Thomas Souček as opposed to Declan Rice. They would both be that kind of person in a role, right? And so if you're signing someone who's going to replace Thomas Souček, you still need to sign someone who replaces Declan Rice, and it still leaves you the problem of having significantly less defensive ability. Because not only would you be replacing Thomas Souček and not replacing Declan Rice and having that massive hole that we already have, you are also replacing the better of the defensive midfielders we have right now for someone who's worse defensively, because I think Thomas Souček is better defensively on both of those players. I like them both, but I don't see where they fit. I don't see where they fit unless Edson Alvarez is definitely coming in. Oh, a little bit of a tangle in the box, cleared away. It's going to be a throw in. Kehrer just a little bit, but he does well, actually. He's laughing because it was a 1-2 from Leverkusen. I'm not sure they entirely meant it, if we're being honest about it. He gets a little bit tangled. He potentially gets the ball. It's not a penalty anyway, and Leverkusen waste their chance. It's going to be a goal kick, but flipping heck. But yeah, I like both of those players, but unless we're getting Edson Alvarez as well, which then I understand where the defensive midfield is going, then we can start to build off that, then potentially, but I don't know. And at this point, I'm finding it difficult to. At this point, I'm finding it difficult to sort of give the benefit of the doubt that we will sign someone who makes sense to play in that role, if that makes sense. So I have to just take it as it comes, as if they're the only signing. That's nice play. Ben Rama, he hasn't got the pace, bless him, but he's trying. Lay it off, lay it off, lay it off. Nope, okay. There was a couple of moments there where it would have been a difficult ball to play. Don't get me wrong, but Souček was up alongside him on the right-hand side. Mubama was there just to his left. I think the Souček run was the one that was really interesting to me. I don't know who's marking him there, but just constantly, just sort of like pulling away at his arm, just stopping him from going away. Half an hour in, we're going to have a corner on the left-hand side. Jarrod Bowen to take. Out swinger. That's better. Header off the bar. Jesus Christ, on Souček with a header. That was much better. Played into Souček just by the sort of penalty spot. Free. Whipped in. And he does well. And it just crashes off the bar. And they end up getting it away by Leverkusen. But flipping heck, that was better. That was much, much better. Maybe we don't need James Ward-Prowse. That set piece wasn't awful. I mean, we didn't score from it, but it was awful. Emerson nods it down, hooked away from Bayer Leverkusen. West Ham picking up at the back, playing it round. I suspect we'll go long. We do. We go long to Paquetá of all people. It was more just clearing it forward. But hey, we win a throw-in. We win a throw-in on the right-hand side, past the halfway line. Don't know how we've managed that, but we did. He's in the team for a reason, right? Get the ball on his head from corners, surely. Ball ends up dribbling through to the goalkeeper's hands. Yeah. I don't think with other people you could maybe like an argument. I don't think James Ward-Prowse has the age profile to really use us as a stepping stone at this point. I think James Ward-Prowse is using us to play Premier League football in a team where he knows one, he would start, and two, he would be important because not only do we not have leaders, not only do we need a defensive midfielder or someone who plays similarly, but also we're a team who do a lot with corners and free kicks and that sort of stuff. So I don't think he could look at it as a stepping stone. Other players you could certainly make that argument, and I don't have a problem with being viewed as a stepping stone, to be perfectly honest with you, because in order to take the next step, they need to play well. So it's like, well, you got to get it going, otherwise you're not going to be able to take the next step. So it's just not what you want to be seen as. But I genuinely, if a player came to us thinking this puts me on a bigger stage, we're going to be playing in Europe, we're going to be playing in Premier League, like I'm okay with that because they actually have to turn up and do the job then, and we probably make a profit off them if that's the case. Souček touched the ball, yeah, he just did a bar, didn't he? Just did a bar. This is the problem right now. I was going to say it on a video, but I ended up doing a thing about strikers instead. This is what I was going to say. I am terrified Moyes goes, because as much as I don't want to watch Moyes football, and I don't, and as much as I think we would be a significantly better team in the transfer market without him, which I think we would, losing our manager a week before the season starts is and a team full of his type of players. Good luck replacing him. That sounds like relegation. Oh, that's nice play. Boniface with a back heel. Lay short, big long shot from Granit Xhaka. Weird seeing him back in any shirt that isn't Arsenal after seeing him for so many years for Arsenal. Looking for a classic Granit Xhaka smacker there from range. Doesn't quite work out. Still has the number 4, top 34. Get Potter ball to the bowl. Yeah. I mean, he's an option, but we would have to have the patience to transition. And I don't know if we have the players or the patience to transition. That's the problem. Because we can't just get a manager in who We can't just get a manager in who's going to instantaneously change everything about us. That's my worry about it. Oh, Pekatan and Benrahma linking up well there. They've been okay together. They've been okay today. Benrahma maybe a little bit more lively than good defensive work from Mubama there. Maybe looking a bit more lively, to be fair, than Pekatan, but it's not a team full of hit type of players, though. He can't use any of them. Literally any other manager would be an improvement. Yeah, but my point, okay, yes, I don't disagree with you there. But what my point, I guess, would be is that it's the idea of changing to a different style. Like Zuma, Ogbonna, Cresswell, if he still exists at the club, Sufal, who else have we got? That's just the defenders. I mean, Fabianski you can make an argument for, but I think that's fine. Then you move forward, you're looking at Thomas Souček, you're looking at Pablo Fornals, arguably, although I disagree, but sure. You're looking at all of these, Antonio, shot from range, straight into the hands of Fabianski. That's what I'm sort of saying. There are a lot of people here who work as Moyes ball players, but don't work in other systems. Antonio up front in another system is a terrifying prospect to me, but specifically in this system, that makes sense. I think there would be a period of change, and I don't know how much. I think we have the appetite for change. I don't know if we have the patience for it. Ball over the top. It's a really good opportunity for Bayer Leverkusen. That's a really good finish as well. 3-0. That is a really good finish. Just smashes it home from Boniface. Ball comes in, just a little dink over the top. Hoffman plays it into Wirtz, who just plays it over the top of Ogbonna and Boniface. It's a tight angle, and Fabianski looks like he's covering it, but that is an awesome finish. From a tight angle to just smash it in bottom corner like that. And it's bottom corner as well. He's from such a tight angle on the right-hand side. Bottom corner is basically touching the post. We're not talking about the bottom of the back of the net. We're talking about the bottom of the side net. That is an awesome finish. 3-0 that, but it is it's not looking good, Brev. Victor Boniface with the goal. West Ham United 0, Bayer Leverkusen 3. 7 minutes till halftime. 7 minutes till halftime. I mean, we look like a team that's lost their most important player and captain, who was a defensive midfielder, and not replaced him. Do you know what I mean? We look exactly like that kind of team. Like exactly like that. Exactly that kind of team. Paquetá plays it out wide. Benrahma, Paquetá, pass was not there. He was looking for the through ball through to Emerson. It's not quite worked. He's working hard there, Paquetá, to try and win the ball back. But again, guess what? They play it directly into that space that I was talking about with Frimpong. Bro, it's so clear as day. Like, they do it yet again. Zuma screaming forward at his players. It's so clear as day. They once again play it to Frimpong, who just finds that space. One, because he's got the pace, but two, because there's just no one there. And it's such an easy out ball for them every single time without fail. To just look up and go, mate, imagine being Jonathan Tah, by the way, being linked to them and going, no, I'm good, actually. That is not a defense I want to walk into. It's just such an easy ball for them to play every single time. Play centrally into Wirtz. Good tackle there from Flynn Downs. Awful pass from Thilo Kehrer straight into the path of Bayer Leverkusen. Hoffman there trying to play the ball through. I think it was Hoffman. Such a runny nose. Yeah, nothing big happened. Don't worry. We just conceded again. Just conceded again. Yeah. Yeah, they're pressing us. I 100% agree with Mr. Bones. They're pressing us with groups of 2 or 3 every time we get possession. We aren't able to do anything so poor. And then we end up being forced back to the goalkeeper who just ends up booting it long, Fabianski. And it's, I mean, it's poor. And we don't have the ability to play it out of that. Like, there's only really one player on the pitch who I think, well, there's only in the set, there's a couple, but like the person who's best at doing it is Paquetá. Ben Rama looking for the through ball for Bowen, can't quite make it work. It's the Paquetá is the only person who I believe can sort of deal with those type of presses quite effectively. He allows them to get it and then plays the ball out because it draws people in. But outside of that, you're looking on a bunch of players who aren't very good at it. Frimpong again. Emerson does well there, to be fair. You can see again the danger of Frimpong. He looks for the 1-2, instantly makes this run in behind, but Emerson does well to cover that time. Vert's take him down well. West Ham can play it forward. Ben Rama was looking for the early through ball to Mubama. Can't quite find it. Three minutes plus stoppage time. He is not Naruto. He is not running along the bottom of your screen. Can't believe I did that, by the way, when I turned up. Like, I did the thing everyone does. And I'm like, how does anyone do that? West Ham put together some passes, but not really going anywhere, just sort of testing the waters on a left-hand side attack. Now going up the right, the horseshoe begins once again. Playing it about. Emerson. Yeah, there's just a lot of people just like every time they get the ball, Paquetá's drop deep to try and get involved in build up here and try to dictate play a little bit, which is helping. But every time they pass the ball forward, there are just like multiple men on them, just a little bit of miscommunication there between Paquetá and Ben Rama. Again, it was better, but not good enough. Not good enough. Again, Paquetá dropping deep just to run play there, getting involved in everything. It was just 1-2s with him the entire time, trying to find space, almost netball style. He'll have the ball, everyone moves, little dink into a bit of space, little dink, everyone into space, trying to find their way through. And we successfully were working it. It was slow and it was inaccurate and not very precise, but it was happening. But a little bit of miscommunication at the end of it, that little risky pass that allows you to open up the entire team just completely misses. And it is what it is. Paquetá dropping deeper again here. We've just defended. We've just defending. He's doing exactly what I'm saying there. He's trying to draw people in. We win a free kick from it. He's trying to draw people in and then allowing his ability to pass the ball. He's dropping deep again there, which is probably what we need. Leverkusen are playing through us. Leverkusen's press is being too effective, right? So you need an extra option there just to give you options of passing, so you're not forced to pass back to Fabianski every time and then just hoof it long. Equally, it needs to be Paquetá who's the one who's doing that because he's the one who has the ability to actually pass and do things in this team. So him dropping deep. Love the fact that Paquetá was there and we just decided to boot it regardless. Bowen almost made the most of it, but that's Ogbonna. Why? There is the halftime whistle. Ogbonna, I would like to ask why he would do that. The passing option was there and he just decides to go for it. We need them to drop deeper, right? So we need in that situation, because Bayer Leverkusen are on us and are pressing so well, you need an extra option. You need an extra option to pass to, just to give you the options to not have to go back to Fabianski to just hoof it long every single time. The problem is that needs to be Paquetá, because Paquetá is the one who has the ability to deal with under pressure, deal with the press, just like he did there. He will drag people in. He's quite happy for two people to be on top of him, and then him to play a pass out to someone else to try and effectively get the ball out of that space, right? So he needs to be dropping deeper, and he started doing it towards the end of the half, which is why we saw a little bit of better passing and drawing a free kick there. Frustrating. You still have the tendency in us to just boot it long regardless, which is not helping our case at all, because Bayer Leverkusen are playing very well, and they put us under a bit of pressure with the press. You know, we get the ball in, so our defenders, we're passing it around, they just slowly encroach in the area, get closer and closer and closer and closer, and then it goes back to Fabianski. Fabianski boots it long, and it ends up at the feet of the Bayer Leverkusen players, which is an incredibly frustrating sight to see. West Ham United 0, Bayer Leverkusen 3. And it's not exactly an unfair result. It has been all Bayer Leverkusen. We have had a few fleeting moments of potentially being able to create something that have almost solely come, by the way, through Benrahma and Paquetá. And they are fleeting moments of potentially being able to create something. Not creating, hopefully creating something. And it's just nothing to be done. Nothing to be done at all. It's not got much better, Gio, since she left. I'm not going to lie.
Charlie, this is shit.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's only a friendly, but fucking hell, man. Jesus Christ. It's only a friendly for Leverkusen as well, though.
Yeah.
There's not one positive. They were getting ripped apart down our right-hand side. We're getting ripped apart down our left-hand side. And we're getting ripped apart down the middle of the pitch as well.
It's incredibly easy. Like, unbelievably easy for them.
It's crap, honestly. That is terrible. We can't string passes together. We do about 2 and then decide to belt it. It takes them 3 passes to break us, get through us at some point. When we sit back and say, what are you going to do? They just pass around and break us down anyway. So we try and have a go, and then they rip into us on the counter-attack. We've got no defence, and we've got no way of stopping any way they attack. They're so fluent in attack. They've got more than one way. They've basically got 3. They've got plan A, B, and C, and they're executing all 3 at once today. We've got plan A, and we're struggling with it. This is just rubbish. It's absolutely dreadful. And a week before the season starts, I don't know. I know it's only friendly, but I don't feel like that. I'd be lying if I sat here saying it, because I'd only be saying it to try and remind myself that it's only friendly. But I don't care. We've seen this style of play in competitive football as well. It is dreadful. We are crap today.
It's the only time it's not dreadful is when it works at full force. And you can massively frustrate teams. We've seen it against City in recent seasons, right? Where even Manchester City can't break us down because we're mega compact. They can't play through us, so they have to go around us. They cross the ball in, we clear it away, whatever, and then just consistently bang to Bowen, bang to Antonio, whatever we've got, right? When it works like that, but the problem is there's only one really way it can work. There's like one option, and it's not working today, so we've got nothing. Whereas, like you say, Leverkusen, when they come forward, have 3 different options for what they want to do, right? They can either play it a little bit more intricately down the left-hand side. Down the right-hand side, they have Frimpong, who's basically in behind Emerson and Benrahma every single time without fail in acres of sort of space. And then, like you said, they can play it through the middle as well as they want. It's that no matter what the situation is, they have a way of getting the ball forward and getting it into aggressive, good positions and finding options. Whereas we have one option to do that, and that's not working. Towards the end of the half, when Paquetá dropping a little bit deeper and getting involved in the build-up play, all of a sudden we've seen being able to pass the ball. Shock. Someone who can pass the ball deep allows us to pass the ball. It's weird how that works. But the problem is that we're not very good at it still. Like, he's doing it, but we're not very good at it. And it's way too late. So we'll see how it goes in the second half, if that's the thing that happens more often. But it's a week before the season. You want to see some form of readiness, and we look like it's our first preseason game, and they've been halfway through their season. It's just so, the difference, the cavern of like the difference is just so massive. It's the gulf. It's just insane. It's insane.
It's the worst thing is our best player is Kurt Zouma.
Yeah.
We've conceded 3, and our best player is our centre back. He looks fuming, understandably so. Paqueta looks pissed off. Mubama must be thinking, I'm 18 years old. He should have belief in himself. So this is Mubama. Mubama's thinking, I'm 18 years old. I'm going to be a Premier League striker. I can't stay at this fucking club. I'm not going to make it a Premier League striker if I stay here, and this is how we're going to play. When we get the ball belted at me, he's going to be looking at Evan Ferguson, smashing at Brighton with loads of support for him, all these attacking players to play with, getting a real chance to shine. But at some point, he's going to be thinking, I can't do it at West Ham. It's all right at the under 18s when I do have Marshall, I've got Kadua, I've got George Earthy, I'm getting the ball supplied. Now he's in the first teams, but I'm going to look dog shit here. At the minute, I'm sort of this high regarded, hotly tipped young player to make in the Premier League. Give a season of playing like this, and it'll be a case of that kid ain't worth it. This is honestly so bad. We only look like scoring when we get a set piece. Now I don't mind being dangerous at set pieces. What I do mind is only looking threatening at set pieces, and that is where we are at the minute. It's just, I don't know. Even when we get the ball past the halfway line, which isn't very often, but even when we do, I've got no hope whatsoever. I'm not. My expectations are just nil at this point. When we do go forward with him, like, someone's going to lose it. Paqueta's trying flicks that he shouldn't really be trying, but at least he's trying something. It's just.
It's the sort of flick where if it comes off, you find you all of a sudden open up the space. It's just the difference between us and them. For example, they did that sort of flick for their third goal, right? The difference between us and them is they also have 3 different other options. Whereas that flick is like a Hail Mary. Like, if this comes off, all of a sudden we've opened them up. If it doesn't, we've got nothing. That's the problem. And so when they're not coming off you, like they're not today, then we've got nothing. We've got literally nothing.
It is so bad. Like the Souček Downs thing, it's just terrible. I'm looking at that. It's like a championship midfielder we're watching at the minute. The centre backs have got the ball. They've got nowhere to pass it to. Yeah. Downs will come looking for it. Souček won't come looking for it. He's happy to stand there and watch them have the ball. So they're forced to go long. And then when we're out of possession, those 2 centre midfielders go running back in front of our centre backs to defend straight away. There's just nothing in the middle of the pitch at the minute for us. There's nothing. There's not one good thing. This is terrifying, actually. Honestly, if this doesn't shake Sullivan into taking action, I don't know what will, because we're getting beat handsomely and easily by a Tim Steidten project here.
I said the exact same thing.
And then you sat there thinking, should we back Tim Steidten? We're getting thumped. We're getting played off the park by Tim Steiden's project.
Yeah, from David Moyes' perspective, it's probably the worst game to look absolutely awful, because if you ever want to back your own beef, getting absolutely manhandled by a team, the guy you're basically in arguments with.
I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head exactly who Tim Steiden's brought in, but I certainly know that Frimpong came in, Tapsoba came in, Palacios came in, Ritz came in. They were all signed under Tim Steiden. Half that team was signed under. This is a Tim Steiden project team
as well,
slapping us right up at the minute under a David Moyes assembled team. I mean, Moyes has been here for nearly 4 years now. That's a long time in the Premier League. He must be the 3rd longest serving Premier League manager. He must be, after Pep and Klopp. He's got to be the 3rd. That is like 4 years. That is after 4 years at the same club in Premier League. That's your squad. That is your team. You might not have signed them all, but you've decided to retain them. I mean, we've still got Sam Allardyce, who's centre back, playing for us at the minute. Left back, and Cresswell. We've still got Sam Allardyce's players at the team, which is not great. But anyway,
I shall be back in a minute, Gio.
Yeah, you go pee. You go have a break. Let's see what you're all saying. I'm just going to scroll halfway up and then start clicking on some comments. So keep them coming in. Hammer 1999, nice to see you. Where were you in the build-up show? You weren't here. He says, we have no patterns of play, no press, no organisation, no leadership. Nobody with a set of bollocks trying to do something, bar Paqueta, and he's been woeful, but at least he's trying. Woeful half. Mr. Bowen says, why are we the worst team at pressing the opposition? Timmy said that's not our first team. It's not wrong. Bra says Ogbonna isn't up to it nowadays. Souček needs punting. It's hard to disagree with any of that. Brad says we're so far off the pace, it's scary. Sheo says Sullivan and Chick and And Kretinsky are billionaires. They ain't made the money by being thick, so their most important method must be madness. You know, dim-witted football fan watching the game can tell Moyes is clueless. Luke saying this is a tight sliding team, and yet Moyes says his players are not good enough yet. They're 3-0 up in 35 minutes. Half that team is Tim's players. Manager is as well. Steve said this is a fine example of a manager not knowing how to set his team up. This is not about the players today. This is, I mean, what I will say, right, we've been doing Hammers Chat with we've been doing Hammers Chat since 2015 now. So we've obviously had Bilic, Pellegrini, Moyes. We've had a few managers now, a few pre-seasons, even under David Moyes. This is the first pre-season I recall the YouTube comments wanting the manager sacked before the season. I've never seen it happen before. And I'm only talking about since we've been doing Hammers Chat with the comments. That's the only fair way of doing it. It is it's absolutely mental, but Hammers, do you think Moyes will be sacked? Do I want him to be? No, I don't think he will. I think he should have been. I think he should have gone during the World Cup, but I think he should have gone at the end of the season. But no, I don't think he'll. I don't think he'll go. Yuri says, "Appalling football, terrifying. Even if we get new signings, they need time to adapt, and we won't have anything." He's blatantly scared. Pollinator said change should have taken place over the summer. Conference Cup papered over the cracks. I don't think it did, though. Honestly, I don't think it did paper over the cracks. It's just Moyes ain't got the gonads. Ross says Paqueta will be off soon. Enjoy the European games this season. This will be our last for a long time. To be fair, even if we didn't have Moyes, I'd struggle to believe that we've got a fourth season coming. We'll see. 5 says it doesn't matter who we sign. Moyes will still play the same crap football. 1999 says impressive Leverkusen. I expected us to lose, but we're getting played off the park, and none of them look like the care apart from Down. So disappointed. I want the cricket back, but I don't like cricket. Football's all I've got, so I'm glad it's here, just not West Ham. Billy says we're dying as a club. Moyes and Sullivan are suffocating the life out of it. What tunes would like to see us lose our first 6 games to get David Moyes sacked? And Warren says this is a serious question. How can everyone see our flaws, yet the one in the club can't? You do wonder. Snazzy says Rice Kai, this team is very obvious now. You can tell in the first half there was times today where things have happened. You thought Rice would have sorted that. Rice would have been there. But Jordan says trouble is, even if we sack Moyes now, who's going to want to come in? Pre-season is finishing. Well, this is just it. This is why Sullivan's got massively wrong. Pissing around all this time. It's not even just who would want to come now, like because of lack of time. You're asking a manager to walk out on his team just before the new season starts. That's a big call. I think if you go after, let's just use Xabi Alonso right now. Forget the contract he's just signed. Just forget that a second and go. Just bear with me. If we went after Alonso at the end of May, middle of June, we sat Moyes, win the final, Moyes is gone. A week later, we approached Leverkusen and said, can we have Alonso? And they said, well, you can. Here's the compensation figure. We go, yeah, that's fine. Alonso, do you want to come? I think you're far more likely to get Alonso to come then than you are now, because essentially now the question is, Alonso, would you like to come just before the new season? Would you like to walk out of your club just before the new season starts? I think that's a completely different proposition than asking a manager to join you before pre-season training has even begun. I think not only is it difficult to get someone in now, I think it's difficult to persuade someone to leave their club now as well. Anyway.
Yeah, it's
a fucking shambles, Charlie.
It's an awful situation. It's an awful situation. And it's all down to...
Do you know the worst thing, Charlie, right?
One big man. Well, little man.
Well, there's quite a few things. But what I will say, let's just say Sullivan was debating last night. Sullivan was debating, actually, fuck it, I'm going to go get James Ward-Prowse. I'm going to give him his James Ward-Prowse. I'm going to give him Harry Maguire. I'm just going to go get signings next week. I'm going to just give the manager what he wants, and we'll give Stein a couple he wants. At this point, Sullivan must now be thinking, there's no fucking chance I can do it. I cannot go and get Moyes' players. I just cannot do it. So he can only going back to Tim Steidten now, surely. But we know that that's only going to cause problems for David Moyes immediately. There's just...
you know, I suspect when they organised this friendly, they thought it would have been a nice final friendly, Stuyden's old club, be a bit of a vibe, you know, good, fairly good team, get some practice in, blah, blah, blah. And then everything else that's happened in the meantime, and now it's come to epitomise literally everything that's wrong with the club as we get absolutely smacked around, getting our backsides handed to us by like a side built by the guy who's being refused access to the transfers, despite that being the sole reason he was brought into the club. It's just an incredible situation to watch. It's the epitome of literally everything wrong in half of football. 45 minutes, 3-0 down to the exact thing. It's just it's incredible. It's genuinely incredible. It's the sort of thing that they would write into scripts of a film about football, and then people go, "Yeah, but that wouldn't happen." It's unreal. It's exactly. It's literally it. It is the thing.
We won the Conference League 8 weeks ago.
Yeah, 58 days ago, 59 days ago.
8 weeks ago, we won a European trophy.
Yeah.
And today, 8 weeks later, a week before the season starts, we've got no captain, we've got 2 coaches, no new players. We sold a player with a year's notice, and we haven't replaced him. We've got a technical director and manager squabbling over who to sign. We've got an owner that's just sitting there going, "It's a mess," despite being in charge of those 2 people that are squabbling. We've got a player that's given 9 years to this club that's basically gone on strike. He's gone fucking AWOL. Aaron Cresswell just disappeared. 9 years he's been at this club, and even he's gone, "Oh, fuck it, I can't be arsed anymore with this club." We've got we spent 18 months trying to find a striker, spent 35 million on him, and we're selling him. This club's fucking bonkers, Charlie. It's actually fucking bonkers. Our 3 options to play against Bournemouth at this point up front is Antonio, who doesn't want to be there, who's had no pre-season, an 18-year-old kid, or Danny Ings, who needs to play 2 up front, and we're going to play him in a 1 up front. Our manager's been at a club for 4 years, and this is a strike force he's assembled. It's like, honestly, It's almost like every single window we can tell he's going to be linked with 18,000 centre backs. Now, don't get me wrong; they're quite important, and we might need them sometimes. But my God, does it frustrate me? My God, does it frustrate me? They're through straight away, by the way. Good save in the end of the day. I better go watch it. The t-shirts have turned up.
There you go. It's very exciting.
I can't even promote them though. How am I meant to sit in the review wearing a t-shirt? Going, I know we've just got slapped 5-0, but do you want a t-shirt celebrating the fact that we won in Prague? Do you want one? Would you like one? Do you want a t-shirt?
Do you want one? It says champions on it.
Fucking brilliant.
Yeah, good luck with that.
We've spent thousands on these t-shirts.
Oh, that could be worse, Gio. Could be worse. Well, give it 45 minutes. It might be worse. We'll see what happens. It might be worse. We'll see what happens.
I don't even want to go watch the second half. You know, I need to. I need to go watch it, and I need to do a video about it. But I've got absolutely zero fucking enthusiasm, because the worst thing is, right now, do you know, I'm feeling better than I did at the end of the first half. I know I've got 45 minutes of just depression getting pumped into my veins, and I've got to sit there.
Really, ultimately, you don't need to watch the second half, because you know exactly what it is. It's the same as it was so far, at least. I mean, Soufal's on. I think Antonio's on, but apart from that, I mean, the movement.
We watched the second half, looking at 3 cardboard boxes full of new t-shirts, thinking they're never going to fucking sell.
Oh, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you start to see Hammers Chat taking sponsors that don't seem like
in fairness, people are asking about t-shirt. They are good designs. They
are.
And they'll be £22. They're a few quid more, but we've got a better quality garment now. So the t-shirts we've got better quality t-shirts. We've got designs.
They're really high quality, and like you say, the designs are really good as well, to be fair.
Yeah, so I will promote them another day. Maybe it depends. I've opened one box, and my favourite design's not in the in that box. So if I find it, I might put it on for the review. But anyway, right, Charlie, I'm gonna go.
Enjoy the second half. Because we won't. Yeah, what a vibe. So what exact changes were made at halftime? I couldn't really... There's nothing on screen came up. Was it Sufal? It looked like Sufal came on. And then I think I saw Antonio as well. Was that correct? But I can still see Kara. So which means we've probably gone to a back five. I've seen the word back five as well. Back Ultras just said back five. Areola on for Fab. Okay, cool. Ogbonna under pressure, plays it back to Areola, who pumps it long. Mubama gets involved. Oh, that's not Mubama, that's Antonio. Yeah, that is Antonio. Yeah. He looked tall for a second there, Antonio. And then the second he touched the ball, I was like, no, he's not tall. Not that he's a short man, but... Well in from Emerson there. Getting a bit of pressure in. This is the thing. I don't mind a five at the back, man. I really don't. Like, it's not my ideal setup in general, but I think under Moyes, it's the most attacking formation we can play. It actually gives us options going forward. Souček with a nice little ball out to the side there. Ben Rama tries to take on his man, lays it back to Souček again. Looks to thump in across. No one can quite get on the end of it. I don't mind, like, in theory, a back 5/3 with Antonio and Bowen up front. I'm not against that. It's not ideal, but I'm not against it. And with David Moyes, Kara cuts that one out. With the way David Moyes plays, I think it's our best opportunity to actually attack, if I'm being honest. I will be. I've stayed up all night, all week to get to have the time in order to do it. So I definitely will be. Big month for wrestling. SummerSlam at the beginning of it, All In at the end of it. Nice ball down the right-hand side. Antonio finds Jared Bowen, pulls it across, hits it straight into the hands of the goalkeeper. Ben Rama, second chance, almost gets there, whips it off the post. Oh my Lord, how's that not ended up in the net? We've actually crafted an opportunity. It was always a bit stretched, but we actually crafted an opportunity. Ball gets played down the right-hand side, pulled back. Ben Rama ends up hitting it. Goalkeeper's out of position. It ends up hitting off the base of the post, and they can finally clear it away, but flipping hell, it was close. Sufal for Zuma, is that who it is? It does look like Flynn Downs is currently playing as a left wing back. We look better in this formation, I can't lie. We looked better in this formation at the beginning of preseason. We look better at it in this formation now as well. Gerd is on as well. I'm still trying to figure this out. As Bayer coming forward, Leverkusen are passing the ball around just outside the box. This is more West Ham like them passing it around this area, but that's nicely done. Through, dragged it very, very wide on a shot. This is much more West Ham like, frustrating them, but he managed to wiggle his way through. Doesn't quite work out in the end. I'm still trying to fully figure it out. So it looks like Areola in goal. It does look like a three at the back of Kara, Ogbonna, and Gerd. Then probably Emerson left wing back, although I haven't seen him yet. And Sufal right wing back. You've then got Downs and Souček in midfield. Wait, there's too many numbers here. There's too many numbers. Even Baby Bells can't save his performance. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's not. I'm not crazy, right? It does look like Flynn Downs is playing left wing back, or is he just left centre mid and he was covering at that moment? Because I haven't seen Emerson. I'm sure he's there somewhere, but I haven't seen him. We do have the sort of front two of Antonio and Bowen, which makes most sense to me with Ben Rama just behind him, which means Paquetá will be playing centre mid alongside probably Souček, and then Downs at left wing back, maybe. I've wrote in all the subs. Thank you. He's taken Paquetá off. We should take this off. This is no longer okay. He's taken Paquetá off and got five at the back. Right. Okay. So it's Flynn Downs who's just about. So he was left centre back. He was left centre. He was left mid. He was left centre mid, but he was covering for Emerson. Right. Oh, he will. He 100% will. He 100% will. Lee, good to see you, my friend. Hope you are. He 100% will get. He will get bags of goals. He'll get bags of goals wherever he goes. Antonio puts into a good space. The cross isn't bad, but it's just no one there. It wasn't a great cross, but it's not bad. Kara Oggy again. Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. There we go. Fabianski, Zuma, Paquetá, Mubama for Areola, Sufal again, and Antonio. That makes sense now. Boniface is in the area. Bro, he sent Ogbonna for dinner there. That was terrifying. We just look better with back three. We just do. I'm sorry, but we do. And it's not more defensive. With David Moyes, if anything, it's more attacking. Boniface there just dropped the shoulder, and my God. He broke Ogbonna's ankles. That was difficult to say. Broke Ogbonna's ankles. The enunciation on that was not working at all, was it? Whoever's directing this keeps cutting to the weirdest camera angles of things, and I don't know why. I don't know why. So let's see how we defend now. Because I think from an attacking standpoint, I just prefer us in the three under David Moyes. I just do. So let's see. The problem is, at the beginning of last season, we were awful. Pardon me, we were awful with it. But let's see from a defensive standpoint what ends up figuring out. Because we've seen it this preseason where we have been playing this formation and we've collapsed into a 4-4-2. Again, Bayer Leverkusen trying to work their way in, but just more people in there. It's just stopping it. Looking for the outball from Mikel Antonio's. Battles for it. He loses, but he does well. Bayer Leverkusen pick up the ball and can play again. Bonner needs to resist the temptation to step forward like he was just then. Bayer Leverkusen are passing the ball about on the halfway line, and he just took a little bit of a step forward to mark the centre forward, but it does allow a little bit of space that a smart team could play right through the middle of. Play through, hit it from Bayer Leverkusen from range from a non-dangerous position, and unless it's a screamer a la Santa Maria in the last game, that's not going in. Straight into the hands of Areola, who throws it out. We played our best football under Moyes in the back three. Yeah, I agree. Completely rejuvenated Aaron Cresswell's career, to be honest. Like, without that, I don't think Aaron Cresswell would still be in the Premier League. Like, if we're being perfectly honest about it. Played into the area just outside the area by Leverkusen, trying to find a bit of space. Again, they're being resorted to shooting from outside the area at this point. So far, better in this second half. After some very early warning signs, some warning shots, it does seem to be better in this second half than it was in the first. Antonio battling for it, does well. Goes down, wins a free kick. He does well there. You can hope. You're going to have to hope he hits the ground running, aren't we? Probably not, if we're being honest. But he didn't really have much of he didn't really have any opportunity to, if we're being honest about it. He didn't really have any opportunity to, but probably not. I really like him, but probably not. Played out wide to Sufal. Look, to try and cross it in. Can't quite make it work. It's going to be a throw in right by the right corner flag for West Ham. But yeah, you suspect no. Golden opportunity here. Will we do our usual West Ham throw-in nonsense and lose the ball instantaneously, or will we craft an opportunity for it? Vladimir Sufal to take the throw. He has zero options apart from launching it long. Like, there isn't a single option near him. He launches it long, looking for Souček. Headed down by Bayer Leverkusen, and they play it away. Shockingly, West Ham throw-ins still god awful. Where's the vibe? Where's the vibe? Good to see you, Steve, by the way. Hope you well. More tissues now, just in case my nose carried on running. Thought ahead. Ben Rama gives away a free kick. Battling. Frimpong's still down. He's being helped up by other Bayer Leverkusen players. It's going to be on the right-hand side, just over the halfway line. Still sort of in that middle third. I'm watching it on the official West Ham YouTube channel, Joe, which apparently is only available in the UK, which is the dumbest thing in the world. But there we go. I don't know if it's available anywhere else. I'm not sure. If anyone knows where anyone else can watch it, let Joe know. By Leverkusen passing it around just in the middle third right now. Nice incisive pass forward. That's a great play, and he's onside, surely. Brilliant opportunity. Good defending, and Areola comes out and covers that one well. Just took way too much time there, Boniface. It should be 4. They passed it through the middle, just like there was no one there. That's so well done. And he had time, he had space, and he just takes way too long. Way too long. He starts doing step overs in front of Areola, who's come out well and covered well to make it a difficult finish. But he should have just been clinical about it. Instead, he wastes his time, just step overs and nonsense. And don't know which one of our defenders got back, but gets in there and nips it away. Terrible. It should be 4. Should definitely be 4. West Ham playing the ball forward, losing it instantaneously with a little bit of a loose cannon pass. Bayer Leverkusen can work it out from the back now. We've looked a heck of a lot better since the formation change. Last 5 minutes, Bayer Leverkusen have had some good spell here, but nowhere near what it was in the first half. Still, we aren't creating enough. We're nowhere near good enough. Don't get me wrong about that. We're just not complete and abjectly awful. Now we're just not good enough. Bayer Leverkusen just passing the ball around casually on the halfway line. They're looking for those options, but they just don't exist like they did. And Xhaka loses out with the ball. Good interception. Bowen running into about 8 men there, but it's a throw in on the left-hand side to Bayer Leverkusen. I thought that was for us, but still, it's going to be a sub there, a couple of subs to Bayer Leverkusen, but better. Like I say, not good enough by anywhere near by any stretch of the imagination. You cannot claim this is good enough, but certainly not an absolute dumpster fire of performance anymore. We look a little bit like we can stop them from scoring. Now, can we score? No. So far, no. It doesn't look like we are. We're not creating really any better than we were in the first half. We're getting the ball into more interesting positions, but we're not really creating any better. But we also don't look like we're going to concede every 2 seconds. So, swings and roundabouts. Still not good enough, but we'll see where we go from here. 62 minutes on the clock. 28 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Passing the ball about here by Leverkusen, trying to work their way down the left-hand side. Xhaka finds Wirtz. Cuts it back. Again, they're not finding the joy and space they were in the first half. To be honest with you, without Declan Rice and without another defensive midfielder, we might have to play 3 at the back for defensive purposes. We just might have to. Ogbonna on top of Boniface, who turns him yet again. And then West Ham just crowd him out. Somehow he still has the ball there. I don't know how the hell he's come away with the ball there at all. Looking for a nice little 1-2 there. Leverkusen. I was going to say hooked away well, but it wasn't at all. We've somehow still got possession of the ball. Again, just taking a bit too long, and we win a goal kick off it. But Jesus. There is also the fact that Boniface should have scored. He just should have put it. He should have made it 4. It was a great opportunity, and it's only not 4 because he messed it up, not because of something we did. To be fair. Hello. We are awful. We are god awful. Are you about tomorrow for Spanners? I was going to message you this after the stream, but are you about tomorrow for Spanners? If so, does anyone want to come on Spanners? Souček finds Sufal down the right-hand side, looking to try and cross the ball in. Souček just hooks it. There's no one there. Bayer Leverkusen can be. All right, cool. I'll message you after and I'll try and sort it out. If anyone's around tomorrow, say afternoon, and wants to come on Two Spanners One Hammer, the Patreon exclusive podcast, if you're a Patreon, you'll know you're allowed to come on the podcast. Let me know. You come on. Good opportunity. Big hit from range from Leverkusen, goes flying over. I'll message you after, Ray. Hope you're well. Hope you're good. Adley just absolutely smashes that one, gets a little bit of space, but not a lot of time. That's the problem there. He has to take it first time, and he's always leaning back. It goes flying over. We look much more defensively sound with the 5 at the back. Much more defensively sound. The chances that they're getting are not big chances, apart from the Boniface one where he should have scored. They haven't really gotten any big chances. It's all just been shots from range, which we can concede shots from range. That's fine. Whatever, it is what it is. Like, just take your shots from range. If you're going to concede shots, you might as well concede from there. Going forward, it's slightly better, but we're still not creating anything. But we're getting into more interesting positions. But we're still not good enough in that realm at all. At all. Problem is to some extent, you still have the defensive midfielders, right? So Boniface is down, by the way, so there's a break in play, which is why I'm just saying this. But the problem is there's still that sort of problem where there is a lack of options going forward, and you still have the defensive midfield that you had previously in Downton Souček, who are just not going to create anything at all. Like, Souček might create stuff via his movement, but he's not going to create stuff via passing, is he? And so we're still looking to try and create that. And so taking off Paquetá, putting Benrahma in, I understand what he was doing. And ultimately, in a competitive Premier League game, you probably wouldn't be happy with a little dink through there from Benrahma looking to try and come through. Ultimately, in a competitive Premier League game, you probably would not be happy with a midfield to like a double pivot of Souček/Downs and Paquetá. That seems like suicide to me. Oh, that's a good ball through down the left-hand side. West Ham on their backs here. He tries to play a reverse pass in, and just a little bit of miscommunication there. If he got through, that could be 4 again, but better. That's what Bayer Leverkusen need to be doing right now, is they need to be faster. Because if they can play the ball faster through, then there might be some spaces. But if they give us any time to reset, there's just none right now. Gavin, good to see you. Currently, it's changed at halftime, but currently we are playing a 3-5-2, 3-4-1-2, however you want to word it. There's lots of different ways you can say it. But we have Areola in goal. We have a back 3 of Kera, Ogbonna, and Aged. We have Emerson at left wing back, Sufal at right wing back. We have a midfield 2 of Downs and Souček, with Benrahma just behind Mikel Antonio and Jared Bowen. Big, and jealous. Very jealous. Very, very jealous. I've just realised I haven't got any of the donations up in the corner. Give me a second to sort that out as well. While Bayer Leverkusen are just sort of aimlessly passing it around at the back. Well, I say at the back, in midfield. Hooked in again, just headed away from Kera. Bowen battles for that one, does well. Souček lays it back to Areola, who's forced to go long. But we do okay with that. We do okay with that. We lose out there, though, and this is a really good opportunity for 4. Boniface tries to cut in. I tell you what. Awesome tackle. Wait, is that good? That's that pen. That looked clean as you like to me. Penalty is being given to Bayer Leverkusen. They came through. Boniface is there. Kera, again, comes flying across. That looks clean as you like to me. I thought it's his trailing leg. He stretches across, right? So again comes flying. Again comes flying across. He's reached full stretch to try and block it. He's nowhere near it, by the way, with the first thing. And it's his trailing leg. I thought his trailing leg collected the ball, but the referee says no. I couldn't quite tell from the replay because the replay wasn't, if we're being honest, aimed at the ball too well. So it was a bit difficult to tell. I thought it was I don't think it was a pen, but it is a penalty to Leverkusen. It's a golden opportunity for them to make it 4. Andrich is the one who's going to take it for them. They're number 8, who I think came on at half time. Sufal talking to the ref a little bit more. Trying to see in the chat if you don't think it's a pen or not. I'm not sure. Andrich steps up. Yeah, top corner. Good pen. Good pen, 4-0. Good pen, 4-0. Sends Areola for dinner. I mean, Areola and pens. It's not the vibe, is it? It's not the vibe, regardless. So 4-0. The last 10 minutes by Leverkusen have been getting more into the game. They've been playing faster through the lines and getting into better space, which is the only way you can get past this formation. Triple substitution there. Ben Johnson and Cornet are both coming on, as was someone else. Couldn't see who it was for. Is that Ben Johnson playing left wing back? Yeah, it is. Okay, good. Good. That's good. That's going to help. Is it triple or double sub? Cornet's coming on for Jarrod Bowen regardless. Ben Johnson's just come on for Emerson. And I can see Pablo Fornals. I assume he's come on for Ben Rama, I think. Because I can't see Ben Rama. So I believe what we've done is gone for maybe a 3-4-3. Well, we've got a corner. We've got a corner straight from that. From kickoff, we've got a corner. Oh, it's already bad. It's already bad enough, in my opinion. It's already bad enough. Now it's an awful day. Now is a god-awful day. Anything worse than this becomes total, complete and utter disgrace. You know. See, foul. Not disgrace, just an embarrassment. Another corner. That early vibe from that second half changes have sort of gone now. Fornals coming across to take corner again on the right-hand side. He has a short option in downs. Doesn't take it. Instead, plays it in towards the box. Souček battles for the header. Bounces around a bit. Downs threw himself at that one. It's going to be a free kick. I don't know which way, to us. I was going to say it can't be against us, surely. Flynn Downs takes one for the team there. Ball bounces up. Flynn Downs just comes flying in with a header, commits full force to it. Manages to nod the ball away from Bayer Leverkusen from their attack. He does well. I mean, Bayer Leverkusen could still create counter-attack from that, but it's worked out. You're not wrong, Adrian. It does sort of make him look god-awful, doesn't it? Corner for now standing over a free kick, which gives you some idea of how badly we need free kick corner takers. Corner to take it. Very wide. That's fine. We move on. Right, well, you got to take that. Let me finally see this. Just awful play. just god awful. That initial burst that we had when we first came back from the half, where we looked slightly better defensively, and we weren't creating well enough, but we were doing okay. We were doing much better than we were. Like I said, we weren't ever doing good enough, but we were doing better than we were. Well, now that's all gone. That vibe is all gone. Hopefully we can sort of get anything, but we weren't looking like we were creating much from it anyway. And what can you do? What can we do? Right, the donations are now finally there. Schizo, Housey, Jordan, and GP, thank you very much. Much appreciated. Helps out the channel massively. Schizo, I apologize. It says you're going to play £5 because I don't know where the Euros button is on my keyboard. And frankly, CBA figuring out. Not now, anyway. Pablo Fornals, just outside their area, looking to try and create a little bit of an opportunity here. Wouldn't mind a wide angle. There we go. Thank you, director. Lays it into Antonio. It's a good opportunity. Just goes to boot it from range. Should have laid it short there to corner, but okay. Now he goes charging back. Why he was so far back there, Antonio, I'll never know, but sure. Yeah, Alonso's drilled this team really, really well. They're really good. They have 4 or 5 different ways of getting forward, which answers Ray's question as well. Where's the biggest weakness for the goals? I mean, realistically, when you look at all the goals, they're all coming from different places, and we've seen so many different ways of them breaking us down today. We've seen so many different ways of them breaking us down that it's not like any one of them are the big issue. There's so many different issues, and you can see how good Alonso is in that he's drilled a team. He's drilled a team in a way where there are several different ways of going forward at all times. There's always a different option. There's always a different turn. There's always something different that they can do. It's not just a case of. They're really making a mockery of our left-hand side. They're doing well down their left. They're doing well down our right. Here comes Connor Coventry. It just is what it is. Mickey, what bit did I say badly there? Don't get me wrong. I probably do say some nonsense, and I'm fine with being called out for it. But which bit was I wrong on? Because I quite like to know. Coventry's come on for Flynn Downs. First time we've really has he been played? Has he played any time during preseason? Don't know. I can't remember seeing him this preseason. I might be wrong about it, but I can't remember seeing him this preseason. Taps over, picks up the ball, verts, lays it short to Boniface to try to work their way forward, and there is Connor Coventry picking up the ball. Oh, Hlozek's going to come on for not the one we wanted. Well, it is the one we wanted, but not the one we got. Adam Hlozek, who of course we were chasing for a while, and then we thought maybe because we got the guy who owns the football team he played for, maybe we'd be able to help. No, he ended up joining Leverkusen. Weird that, joining this Titan team. Weird how that works. And he's going to come on now. He's going to come on for Bayer Leverkusen. I think he'd work. I think he'd work for us, personally. It's very haggard today, man. Good to see you. It's very haggard today. I don't know if you were here around at the beginning of the stream, but I've been awake on stream the entire time I've woken up. I woke up and then ran onto the stream because I was late. So we didn't get here until minutes in. I forgot Danny's not here either. I've had a mare today, ladies and gentlemen. But then again, why put in effort? It's not like our transfer committee is, so who cares, right? There we go. Also, it comes on for Boniface, I believe. There we go. You can just live there. It'd be interesting to see someone we could have and should have and maybe probably could have got, but you know. He was asleep on the floor next to me, Rex. He was in his little hut where he lives. I say his hut, the corner. And yeah, I've just been so tired and I've not, you know. Oh, we were. We 100% were. And we're stopping them from scoring as much as they were. Now that's all gone, though. That's what I was saying. That's where I was all going. Games going stages, right? The opening 20 minutes of the second half were better than the first half. We weren't creating enough. Like I said, we weren't good enough, but they were better. That doesn't mean we're good. It doesn't mean we're good enough. I said that at the time. Not good enough. And now it's completely collapsed. Now it's collapsed. They're on the ball 100% of the time. They're finding spaces they weren't. When they attack quicker, that's the big thing. When they're slowing down like this, we're defending better than we were. Right now, they're passing the ball around here by Leverkusen, trying to find their way forward. But because they've taken a long time to get there, because there were breaks in play, that allows us to get into position, and we just sort of sat there waiting for them. But going forward, we've still had basically nothing. We've gotten a bit better in that sense, where we've gotten into better spaces than we were, but we're not creating anything. It's done. It's definitely done. Like we're not going to score. They might be able to score one more, but we're not going to score. I think there's a legitimate argument that we have to start with 3/5 at the back this season. I don't think you can see anything else. It's very, 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 very clearly not working with the usual 4-2-3-1. So I think you almost have to start with this formation because it looked better in this system all preseason. Our good games in preseason were with this formation. Today we've looked better with this formation. I think you almost have to start it. The problem is we're not going to score from it, and we still need a defensive midfielder because no matter what formation you start with, doesn't matter whether you start with 4-2-3-1, 4-4-2, 4-3-3, 5-2-3-1, 3-4. It doesn't matter what formation you're playing. The double pivot of Souček and Downs is still awful. This is a good opportunity for Bayer Leverkusen. Again, the pace getting in behind, but again, does well just to cut that one out. It doesn't matter what's happening there. You have to get a defensive midfielder because, frankly, Souček and Downs is nowhere near good enough to play in the Premier League. Nowhere near good enough to play in the Premier League. I like Thomas Souček, and I think Thomas Souček is a very good player, but he only works in certain systems with certain teammates. And my lord, is that not Flynn Downs? And my lord, is that not this? And my lord, is that not this? So you put him next to Flynn Downs, and that is an awful midfield too. Awful midfield too. We can agree to disagree. We're terrible. That bit we agree on. It's just we were defensively more solid in the middle. So we were forcing them out wide. But when they decided to play quickly, which they did do in the first half, but they just had other options, then they still pulled us apart. But when we were sat deep in the way that David Moyes wants to sat deep, we looked more defensively solid in the middle. But listen, the last bit of your statement, 100% agree on. 100% agree on. We are terrible. We are god awful. We're god awful. Stop it. You charmer, you. I think he is a good footballer. He's not a good passer of the ball, but I think he's a good footballer. But he needs the right person next to him, and he only works in certain systems. Me and Ray had this conversation on Spanners endless amount of times when he was being linked with moves away for lots of money. I was like, what club's going to buy him? Because he's such a specific footballer who plays in such a specific type of way that selling Thomas Souček is really difficult because you need a specific type of club who play a specific type of football to come buy him, which means there can't be that many out there. So which means we're not going to get a lot of money about. I don't think he's a good passer of the ball. I think he's really good defensively, and I think he's really good in the box. Anywhere in between the two boxes is a write-off. He's a write-off. Ball over the top from Adley, looking to try and get him around the back. Is offside. There's a bit of beef now going on between their number 8, who scored the pen. I can't remember his name. Andrick, I think is his name. And Connor Coventry, who picks up a yellow card. There was a bit of beef going on there. Yeah, Connor Coventry just arrives late on him there. And the beef began. He picks up a yellow card for it. Connor Coventry taking no prisoners there. Just came in, just clatters into him, picks up the yellow and has a massive argument. Again, just taps him on the head. You love to see it. My lord. My lord. Yeah, I agree with that. I think he lost a lot. Like the first like season and a bit with us, he had like he sort of had like a really defined role and it was kind of perfect. I think going forward, that role has been decimated over the last 2 years, and now he just sort of is endless. And here you can't. This is the problem with him putting him next to someone like Flynn Downs, right? You cannot, you cannot, under any circumstances, have Flynn Downs playing as a single pivot by himself. That's just that's god awful defensively. That is god awful defensively. Vert's coming on. Their number 11, Amiri is coming on. That is god awful. So he can't. So he almost can't get further forward, and it's just so inconsistent. 6.5 minutes plus stoppage time to go. It is raining and pouring. The old man was snoring. That was me pre-game. A miserable day in Leverkusen. It's probably the most accurate way I've seen it describe Mike Mick's films. Souček is a box and a box midfielder rather than a box 2 box. Yeah. Which is good because Declan was good at all the stuff in the middle. But yeah. Jesus Christ, it is pouring down now. It's absolutely pouring it down. We're passing the ball around. Is this official, Dean? Is that officially happened now? Passing the ball around, sort of aimlessly, both teams, neither the vibe. Antonio trying to dribble his way in. Passes the ball like someone who's barely played pre-season. Straight into the defender. Literally nothing to be done. Don't worry, everyone. Only 5 minutes left to go. Only 5 more minutes to deal with, and then the season is technically underway. Good to see you, Alan. Sorry, Mr. Pardew, sir. My mentor, how are you? We've been god-awful, sir. We've been god-awful. Why Leverkusen does really well again. Frimpong making his way down the right-hand side. Can't pull it back there. We look awful. We look an absolute mess. We look we just look an absolute mess. We've got nothing. We've got literally nothing. Even the very few positives I've been trying to pick out, or it's not even positives, glimmers of light, maybe hints of it in the second half, and we still technically have lost the half 1-0 and look awful. Or just look crap. Just look crap. We move. The problem is, Richard, is it's so much bigger than David Moyes. And if you get rid of David Moyes now, which is fine. Like, I'm not exactly, like I said, I don't like David Moyes. I've never enjoyed David Moyes. So I'm not exactly against getting rid of David Moyes. We can't go and get a better manager, and they're going to be playing with a team full of David Moyes people, and it terrifies me. It feels like a recipe for relegation. I'm more confident of us staying up, keeping David Moyes, than us getting rid of David Moyes at this stage of the season. The problem is, if you've got a manager out there, if there's a manager, Tim Steidten, this is the thing. It's way too complex to really get into. I wanted to do a full video on it, but I couldn't really be bothered and blah, blah, blah. If you look at, if there is a manager out there that Steidten really likes, that is available. Because like Gio said earlier, I don't think you can go and convince a manager to leave their club to join West Ham at this stage. So you have to get someone who's available. And if someone Steidten likes and come back, then why not? Might as well. But I can't, firing David Moyes just for the sake of it is like, we don't. We have a couple. We do have a couple. Don't get me wrong. We have like the likes of Paquetá. But outside of that, like I was saying earlier, like the team is built for David Moyes. The team is built for David Moyes, and then there's a couple of other people in there, which is what makes performances like this so much more galling. Is because David Moyes has it. As Gio said, he's been here for 4 years. The vast majority of these players were brought in for David Moyes. You know, they were built in for David Moyes, and yet we're sat here, and it looks like none of them know what they're doing. It looks like none of the players know what they're doing. It looks like David Moyes doesn't know what he's doing. It's just an insane thing. It's an insane situation. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's awful. I have never felt like this going into a season before. It's so unbelievably bad. We're at a stage where we're a week away from the season starting. We feel like we have to get rid of our manager. We haven't signed a single player. It's so awful. Name another team who going into the season, a week before the season, have gone from winning a trophy to needing to get rid of their manager. You can't, because it's insane. It's genuinely insane. It's god awful. There's no good options at this point. There is no good options. This is kind of the point I'm trying to make badly, because I also am still waking up. Remember, this is kind of the point I'm trying to make badly, is that we are in a situation where there are no good options. You have to pick the best of the bad options. And again, we won our first major trophy in 43 years, or whatever it was, 60 days ago. Maybe less, because I can't remember what day I said 57, so it could be 59, could be 58. 60 days ago, we won our first major trophy in 43 years. And this is where we've got to. It's insane. It's genuinely awful. It really is genuinely awful. It is Sullivan's fault though. Like don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not Moyes' fault. Moyes has a massive part to play in this, right? The problem is all the people who have parts to play in this, they answer to David Sullivan, who's the guy in charge. This is the problem. This is the biggest problem. The problems we are facing now, being slow in the transfer market, being awful, losing money on signings. We can sit here, the game ends 4-0. We can sit here and pretend it's all appeared just now, but this has been consistent over David Sullivan's tenure, and David Sullivan is the guy who's in charge of it all. We did the right thing in hiring Steiden, but we're doing the bad thing by ignoring everything he wants. There needs to be some sort of compromise figured out, because right now it is horrendous. This situation we are in is god awful. We've gone from 60 days ago winning a trophy to feeling like we have to get rid of our manager a week before the season starts. It is a complete and utter mess. A complete and utter mess. And I don't believe that we have I don't believe that we have the fortitude to do a transition. It's a mess. It's a complete mess. There are no good options right now. None. Appreciate you, Wally. There are no good options. Like, obviously, that's obvious that we need a new manager, right? That's as clear as day. But like, there is so much more problems at the club than the manager. So much more problems. This, if anything, this shouldn't be a wake-up call, because we've all seen this. Stad Rennes, if you make that argument, should have been the wake-up call. This is just a mess, to quote David Sullivan. It's just a mess. Anyway, that's the end of the game. So Jill will be along to do a review in just a minute. Before that, though, thank you very much to GP, to Jordan, to Housey, and to Schizo Base, massively helping us out with the full-time funds. It helps us hugely. I cannot stress enough. It helps us out in such a massive way. 4-0 to Leverkusen in the end. Didn't deserve literally anything from that game. Completely deserved 4-0. That didn't flatter them. It was basically all that. But anyway, there will be a review in just a few moments' time on the channel. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification button, hit the like button as well, because it helps us out hugely. especially on the review as it's going live in a second. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you for the beginning of the season next weekend. That's going to go well, isn't it? Oh, my God. Come watch it together. See you later, everyone. Come on your minds. Enjoy yourselves. See you later, everyone. Bye. Bye. Jesus Christ. See ya.